Earlier this year, I received my first official senior discount. Apparently, you all know that being 55 has its benefits. Now, initially, it was a jarring and uncomfortable experience, but I've actually decided that I can lean into the idea. Who knew that this kind of a life milestone could lead to discounted ice cream? Even so, I'm actually still a little bit angry at the kid behind the counter for not asking for age verification. Now, I received my first invitation to join AARP when I turned 50, but I was not yet ready to accept the idea of being old. Since then, I have come to terms with the actual reality that I am indeed officially over the hill. Now, a few months ago, a friend, though, sent me an article that has changed my perspective dramatically. In his article, The Time Billionaires, Sahil Bloom writes about a simple phenomenon. When we are young, we are literally rich with time. At age 20, we probably have about 2 billion seconds left, assuming that we live to the average life expectancy. At 35, we have hopefully 1.5 billion left. And by 50, when the senior discounts kick in, less than 1 billion seconds remain. But as the author points out, most of us don't relate to ourselves as the time billionaires that we really are. Most of us fail to realize the value of that asset until it's gone. And the central point is clear. Time is our most precious asset. At Rosh Hashanah, the concept of time is in focus for all of us. The new year gives us a chance to reflect on the amazing cycle of days and months and years. It is more challenging, though, to break down our lives into those smallest of increments, to look at every single second as a precious opportunity to do something of value. So the question each of us might ask tonight is, how will we use our time in the year ahead? The great rabbinic scholar Abraham Joshua Heschel wrote about the reality that time remains immune to our powers of control. He calls on us to focus on the time that we have, like a gift, cautioning us to avoid the worship of only material things. Heschel then leans into this idea that Shabbat and holidays and Jewish rituals are a way to honor the time that we are given. He explains that Judaism teaches us to be attached to what he calls holiness in time, to be connected to sacred events, to learn how to consecrate sanctuaries that emerge from the magnificent stream of a year. And he calls Shabbat a sanctuary in time, an opportunity to stop, to reflect, to look at ourselves and the opportunity ahead. So this particular year, with Rosh Hashanah falling on a Friday night and Saturday, we are doubly blessed and given the chance to consider and honor our remaining seconds. Each one of us must consider how we will focus our energy as we spend our dwindling life currency. And while that may sound morbid and filled with a bit of despair, by turning it on its head, we actually can find a little bit of inspiration. Indeed, it is a powerful exercise to plan the way we are going to use the time we have in front of us. So at this Rosh Hashanah, this evening, I invite all of you to join me as we build a curriculum for our time in the coming year. I'm going to offer just a few suggestions of things that we might do or aspire to do on this high holiday, honoring the passage of time. To be more kind, to be more present, and to be more engaged. I want you to join me on this litany of commitments. In the year 5784, one hope I have is that we all might be just a little bit kinder. For so many people, our focus daily is on professional achievements and material success rather than life expectancy and human values. And while we are engaged in the business of living, we are not always as gracious as we might be to others. Society, as you know, honors competition to collect things rather than people. We hurry through life running on a treadmill of achievement. So as an alternate strategy, consider this running story instead. It happened just last week in Wisconsin when Cooper Erickson, a cross-country runner in high school, was on his way to a third-place finish, but he saw the person in front of him, a competitor, stumble. Instead of running past him to cross the finish line in second place, Cooper ran back, he helped the other athlete from a different school, and then, it's amazing, Ethan Olds, a second junior from the same school, was right behind in fourth place. When he saw his own teammate running to help, he also ran back. Together, two friends on the same team lifted their competitor to his feet, and the three of them jogged together to the finish line. Now, if that feels a little bit far away in Wisconsin, let me share this example a bit closer to home. I want to introduce you to Jolie. Jolie is a Temple Israel college kid here in Michigan, who in 7th grade started the first Michigan chapter of Kindness Matters 365. The goal of that organization is to support the well-being of kids and teens through social-emotional learning curriculums. They teach self-awareness, responsibility, and service. And Kindness Matter 365 sells shirts every year with new designs intended to help all of us remember to be kind and to stay present. All of those shirts say, emblazoned on the chest, "Be kind to every kind." I think that message is so simple and powerful. You see, according to the Mishnah, our Jewish tradition teaches that all of us are, in fact, responsible for one another. The rabbis teach that we are on a ship, and there's a hole in one room. You cannot say that one room of the ship is sinking. The entire boat is sinking. But one act of kindness, one nice word to a friend or family member, that is the beginning of the next phase of life. That is the first step. But beyond that commitment to kindness, I am also hopeful that we will be more present this year for the people who need us most. As I step into the next phase of my personal journey, I realize that I have not always been as connected to the people I love as I wanted to be. And if that resonates with you, it does not mean that you're a bad partner or an irresponsible parent or a neglectful friend. It may just simply be that you, at this moment in life, were more directed towards your career success or the acquisition of things or social status. But now, with time in front of us, the emphasis can change. With just a small shift in attitude, we can relax more and take care of our souls. We should talk more to the people we love in our friends and our family groups. We could listen more to people who are different from us. We can ask more questions. And we can find time to make memories and establish ongoing relationships with those who matter most. You see, the great thinker Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "The only way to attain a friend is to be one." So it is for all of us. We can be kinder, and we can be more present. My colleagues will all agree with me that we have never sat at the deathbed of a congregant and heard them say that they wish they had spent more time working. Rather, they remind us to use our time well, to focus on what really matters, because the space in which we can meet other people needs to be intentional and dedicated, not distracted and impersonal. So take some time in this year ahead to send one extra text message, not right now. Make one extra phone call to someone. Devote deliberate time to the bonds of friendship and family. Now, I admit that both of these New Year's commitments I've offered so far are very intimate and inward-facing. And for all of us, the path forward is going to look different as we commit to kindness and relationship making. My final suggestion, though, is more communal. It's for all of us. In the coming year, I hope that we will all be more engaged in this community that surrounds us and sustains us. In his book, Strength to Strength, Arthur Brooks writes about the challenges of beginning the second curve of a human life. In his research, Brooks emphasizes the power of relationships and human interaction as essential to finding fulfillment when we grow older. But one of the most important of those connections comes in our engagement with matters of spirituality and religion. And in many ways, COVID has taken that away from us. But I know the time has come to rebuild links to Jewish institutions and the Jewish community. While at first those online classes and services helped us through those early moments of the pandemic, now people report to being less connected to religion and spirituality than they were before 2020. And on a personal level, I know that I want to be more engaged in the life of the Jewish people. And I recognize that sounds a bit strange coming from the rabbi, who is in fact responsible for designing the fabric of connection for all of you. But that's exactly the point. We cannot do it alone. And the research is very clear. There is a strong correlation between happiness, longevity, and active engagement in religious life. Several different studies have shown associations between attending services, good for all of you, and increased life expectancy. One of the most comprehensive studies from Harvard found that regular religious attendance has been linked to reductions in body's stress responses and even mortality. So much so, listen closely, that worshipers were 55% less likely to die during an 18-year follow-up period compared to people who didn't frequent temple, church, or mosques. Come to services, and literally, you will live longer. We, your clergy, we can create meaningful classes, programs, ritual observances, but without you, our members, we are alone. Just consider how you feel right now, tonight, in this full sanctuary, singing and praying and participating in the fulfillment of Jewish tradition. And even if you're at home watching online, doesn't it feel good to be part of a community? So why don't we make this more of a habit? It's not so different than what we feel when we attend a college football game or professional sporting event or a concert. There is a wave of energy that comes from other people. It is palpable, and it is so much more difficult to recreate that feeling in front of a television screen or a computer monitor. Now, I recognize it's going to be different for all of you, and the range of that difficulty in finding the right place to connect is going to be giant. But the rabbis of our tradition give us insight. They tell us that when we are overwhelmed with the idea of Jewish life, it is best to take things one step at a time. Rabbi Jonathan Sacks, who was once the chief rabbi of London, taught that while observing the holidays and getting involved in Jewish life may be an onerous task, there is a Chinese proverb that reminds us, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one single step. And if you decide to take that step towards Temple Israel this year, we, your clergy, will greet you with an outstretched hand. Tonight, on Rosh Hashanah, I am committed to taking that step, as I officially, tonight, become 1 year older Jewishly. As another cycle of months and days passes and the seconds tick away, join me by being ever more mindful of how you live in the year ahead. What I now understand is that it is not the number of seconds that matters, but the intensity of the way we choose to use our time. So on this spectacular new year, may we inspire more kindness. May we be more present with others. And may we all engage in Jewish life more intentionally. I pray that we will all discover these blessings in 5,784. Shana Tova.